Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Stephanie D. Burrows, CEO of Stephanie Speaking. We're speaking, training, and coaching company. And I just wanted to share something with you all because I know you're probably wondering, well, where's this grit stuff come in? It comes into life. It is all about our lives, working in our space of being grounded, resilient, intentional, and tenacious. And boy, I have to tell you, today really pulled at me for this. And as I came in just a moment ago and sat down and I said, man, this was really a grit filled day. And what do I mean by that? It means number one, I realized that with all of the challenges that came before me this day, um, there was a need to stay grounded. There was a need to really pull out my core values. And that's where I focused in this particular instance today in terms of being grounded. It was all about the core values. So it really meant for me, I had to work. It wasn't even about work, it was something that came up from within. And so it was about loyalty, respect. And then there's a word that was never something I really understood or knew anything about, quite frankly, growing up. And not until as much later, I'd say in the last 20 years or so, did I hear all this talk about nurturing and being, nurturing and so forth. That wasn't something that I knew or had experienced coming up. And I didn't really, for a long time, know what the heck people were talking about. So I'm like, get it done. Anyway, that word came up for me today because I had to be that nurturing person to someone else who was going through a very, very difficult time. So the mindfulness, I will tell you that the practice of mindfulness is powerful. Meditation is powerful, and we all know prayer is that's on top of everything. But it really did force me to have to. Probably there were some other areas too, but these are the three things that really came out and shouted at me. This is where you were today. You were looking at your values, you were being loyal, you were being respectful, but you were also being nurturing to help this individual. Then there was the resilience piece, and there was a lot of moving pieces in this day today. And I wanted to make sure that I missed none of them, that I tackled each thing that was on the calendar or on the to-do list or that I knew needed to be done and needed to be completed. Some things there would have been a significant financial cost if it wasn't done. For other things, it meant the someone else being dependent upon me for certain things, and I had to show up and get things done and not miss any of it, even if there was a little bit of some things that in terms of timing were off. I still found a way to make up that time. So resilience, changing plans, oh my gosh, all day long. But I bounced forward each and every time. Every time I had a plan change, I came up with a solution. I bounced forward. Some of those solutions were things that I'd never done before, ever. And I was like, we're going to get it done today because the Marine's daughter was taught no excuses. Get it done. No crying, no whining. Get it done. So I was on today. Seriously, intention. I stayed focused on the outcome because if you want to, what is the intention if you don't know what the outcome of that intention is? What is it you want to achieve? So I was totally focused on the outcome for this day. Some things were not as simple as they may seem to others, because when you're dealing with another human being, nothing is ever simple about that. But the outcome was achieved. What I saw in my mind's eye, visualized it, verbalized it, vitalized it, came to fruition. So that intention was met, and the outcome of that intention was met. And I also want to throw in there clarity, because when you have a lot of pieces that you're juggling, you need to focus on having clarity, and that intention and knowing the outcome of that intention is really key to helping you get clear on what it is you wanted to accomplish in the first place. And if something didn't work the way you thought it would, because that did happen, I immediately looked at, okay, what are my options and what else can I do? And let me tell you something. Of course, I prayed a number of times throughout the day. And suddenly things began, doors opened, things came to me. And that's something that does happen. But it was interesting to see it from a different viewpoint this day because of all the different balls I was juggling and making sure that everyone landed just where I expected and intended them to land. And then there's being tenacious, because in spite of what may have appeared to some as obstacles, I wasn't looking for obstacles. I was looking for opportunities. And those opportunities came because God kept blessing with me with things. It was like, okay, you're being all that I'm asking of you. You're doing all that I'm asking of you. And you're not questioning me. And you're not concerning yourself with what ifs. You're just getting the work done. You're doing what needs to be done. And you're taking care of another human being in the process of all of this. So it was pretty awesome and amazing to see some of the gifts that came my way. It's very easy to miss the gifts that come your way because sometimes you're just looking for them to look a certain way. They won't always look the way you expect. So get over that. Don't be focused so hard on a certain thing to happen a certain way that you miss the opportunities to gain even more when you have to incorporate something different, incorporate something new. Or in my case, I would say being tenacious in this instance was I had a situation that occurred in the process of all that was happening, and pain kicked in as a result. And I thought to myself, thank you, Cynthia Joseph. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm acknowledging that this pain is here and that I'm hurting. I'm okay. I get it. But there's some things that need to be done, and it is not debilitating. And so I can continue to do what needs to be done. I was able to get a hold of something that would give me some modicum of relief, but not full relief. But it didn't matter because the focus was on achieving and completing the tasks necessary to achieve the goal for today. And these things I did. And this was not something it wasn't work. Well, yeah, it was work related because some things happened that impacted the work. But as God would have it, the people came to me, when I called or I got on for our meetings, just in spite of all that was happening. Thank God for the technology we have today. And they were like, can we postpone this? Can we do this next week? And it was wonderful for me because I really needed to be focused on the care for this individual being managed and getting the right parties involved and questioning them. As they questioned, I answered the questions because and then I asked them the questions that needed to be answered. All those folks in the medical, oh, you want to talk about advocacy? Oh, yes. And medical advocacy at that? Oh, yes. You want to get it right when you're dealing with me. And when you're talking to a number of different people and having to hear or say the same things each time. And then I'm questioning, I'm not even going to get into it. It was interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Very interesting. But here's the thing. The bottom line is this. I don't just talk about and coach on and speak on and train on being grounded, resilient, intentional, and tenacious in terms of being grit-filled. I live this life. This is how I have lived my entire life. And that's where this program that I have, the coaching program that I have, Mindfully Growing, the Mindful Grit Growth program that is, that's where it's coming from. Living that life. And then also all of the training and teaching that I've received from some of the greats and looking at what worked well for me and incorporating some of those things. And then coming up with key factors and principles that we work on to help you come through, shine through, and live a grit-filled life mindfully. I'm Dr. Stephanie D. Burrows, CEO of Stephanie Speaking. I will put into the comments my calendar for those of you who would just like to have a free 30-minute connection meeting with me, strategy meeting, just to get to know one another and then to see whether or not there's an opportunity for us to do something together moving forward. I thank each and every one of you for listening and for watching. I pray that you have a wonderful day today, a blessed day, a productive day, an intentional day, a day that is value packed. What are your core values? Think hard, not skimming the top or just giving, something that sounds right. Go in deep. Like I said, for me, loyalty is something, respect is something, nurturing is something that is very, very important to me. Well, the nurturing, I'm just learning all of that, and I see that I get it now. I'm just not the wussy kind of nurturer. I'm just saying. Y'all have a blessed day, a blessed evening. Be a blessing to someone else. Use your talents for the good of somebody else. Let somebody else benefit from your talents tomorrow. All right, that's it. See ya. Go get some sleep.